Going through a divorce in San Jose? Look, we know one of the first and biggest financial questions on your mind is the cost of a home appraisal. In this explainer, we're going to cut through all the noise and break down the real numbers for 2026 so you can actually plan with some confidence.
It's a complicated and stressful time, we totally get it. And when you're sorting everything out, your home, well, that's usually the biggest piece of the puzzle, right? Understanding what it's going to cost to get a clear, official value on it is a huge first step toward finding a path forward.
All right, let's get right to it. What's the number? For a standard, run-of-the-mill, single-family home or condo in San Jose, you're looking at a baseline appraisal fee of $750. But, and this is a big but, that's just the starting line. Let's dig into where that figure actually comes from.
Yeah, that 750 isn't just a number pulled out of thin air. It's actually tied to a really solid official benchmark that all the pros in the area use. Let me show you what I mean.
Okay, so it's called the VA fee schedule. Basically, it's a federal list of what they'll pay for appraisals on VA loans. Now, I know what you're thinking. You see that 2021 date, and you're wondering, is this still good for 2026? And the answer is a big, resounding yes. For experienced appraisers in Santa Clara County, this is still the gold standard, especially for the tricky stuff.
And the schedule lays it all out pretty clearly for us. You can see that 750 number right there for a single-family home or condo, but look what happens when things get a little more complex. A manufactured home, that bumps up to $800. And a multifamily property, say a duplex or a fourplex, that jumps all the way to $925. It all comes down to how much more work is involved.
So, why is a divorce appraisal considered complex work anyway? I mean, an appraisal's an appraisal, right? Well, not exactly. A divorce appraisal is a whole different ballgame compared to the one you get for a simple mortgage. It's a specialized service that has to hold up under a microscope.
Let's put them side by side. A routine appraisal, that's for a lender, to make sure the loan is secure. But a divorce appraisal, that's for the court. It's for negotiations. It has to be rock solid and able to withstand a ton of scrutiny from lawyers. A lot of times, it also means the appraiser has to go back in time and figure out a retrospective value. You know, what was the house worth on the date you separated? Add in all the back and forth with attorneys, and you can see how the work just piles up.
Okay, so what does all that extra effort mean for your wallet? Well, while the baseline starts at $750, the reality is that for most divorce appraisals in San Jose, you're realistically looking at a range somewhere between $750 and $900 for a typical house.
But, of course, that's not the end of the story. While that range is a great guide, there are a few things specific to your property and your case that can definitely move that final price tag up or down. Let's break down what those are.
First up, the house itself. Is it some unique custom build? Did you do a massive addition? Or maybe you have an ADU in the backyard that brings in rent? Things like acreage, amazing views, or high-end luxury finishes, all of that requires a lot more digging and analysis, and that, naturally, can bump up the fee. Then there's the legal side of things, the actual scope of the work. Maybe your attorney needs not just today's value, but also the value from the day you separated. That's basically two appraisals in one. And what if the appraiser needs to be ready to go to court and testify? All that prep time, that has to be factored into the cost too.
And finally, let's talk about time. How fast do you need this thing? A standard appraisal usually takes about 10 business days, give or take. But hey, if you have a court deadline breathing down your neck and you need that report like yesterday, you can get it done, but expect to pay a rush fee for that kind of priority service.
Okay, wow. That's a lot to take in, I know. So the big question is, what do you actually do with all this info? Let's boil it all down into a super simple, clear action plan so you know how to budget and who to hire. All right, here's the bottom line for your budget. For planning purposes, go ahead and set aside between $750 and $900 for the appraisal on a typical home or condo. Having that range in your head just means no surprises and you'll be financially ready. And look, when you do call an appraiser, you're gonna be prepared. Go in with these three essential questions. First, do you use the VA schedule as your benchmark? That tells you they're playing by the industry rulebook. Second, can you tell me exactly what this fee includes? You want total clarity. And third, are there any potential extra costs I should know about, like for court time or rush fees? This way, everything is out on the table from the very beginning.
So, I want to leave you with this thought. Don't just think of a divorce appraisal as another bill you have to pay. In a process that is just filled with so much uncertainty, so many variables, having one number that is objective, that's clear, and that is legally defensible, that's not just a piece of the puzzle. It might just be the solid ground you need to start building your next chapter.